Hey everyone, this is Curb and I bring you another standard match. Today is a bit of a special one. I'm actually going to be bringing you a match from the Conquest match that I played against the streamer JoobiJooni. I'll go ahead and link them in the description if you want to check them out. They do stream Vanguard from time to time, but they do also stream other content if that's something that interests you. Anyways, as you can see, I'm going to be going up against Token Rambu, which is something you don't really hear that often. He's going to be playing, or they're going to be playing Yamanbagiri, which is one of the main boss units that got support in the latest set. Well, I'm pretty sure is guaranteed to get support in the next set as well. I have a whole video on how to play Token Rambu if you're actually interested in that. But, of course, I am actually going to be playing Avantgarda, and unfortunately this is not my based list. After playing that for locals, I wanted to actually try it, straight, and I came up with a build that's actually pretty satisfying right now. Definitely the deck is going to become a whole lot better once we get that new support that was announced, which is actually absolutely crazy for the deck. If you saw my stream on Avantgarda, you'll know that you'll know my opinions on it. But for now, we're just going to be playing, some standard Avantgarda. Just going to be riding up into that grade 1 swing in, pinging for 1 damage there. It's going to be a heal trigger, I believe, there. But, that's just going to be in a turn. Avantgarda doesn't really do too much on their first turn. Although with the new support, they will be able to, because you can just commit those grade 1s if you really want to. Although, probably not the greatest idea. Doesn't really matter. But as we're going to be riding into the grade 2 Yamanbagiri here, we're going to counterblast 1 in order to draw a card there. We're going to be using the training, or is it Forge? It's Forge. Yeah, training as tools is the other, Token Rambu archetype. But using the Forge, which is an insanely good card, I think we put back 2 critical triggers already, and then just got free calls. Now, one of them was the PG, which is probably the worst you can do off of a Forge, because you can't call triggers off of it. It has to be a normal unit. But unfortunately, PGs are normal units. So, going to be swinging in. Still being a 5k booster is pretty big in the early game. Swing hitting into another heal trigger, healing down to 0. I'm going to be hitting my own defensive, a critical trigger there. But with that extra power from the heal trigger, this is going to be a 20k at my 8k. Unfortunately, I don't really have a good 5k guard here because, especially in Avantgarda, a lot of your cards are just pieces, and most of them are just going to be plussing you. So I'm kind of deciding, do I want to just take this? And I guess I decide to just taking a Oligogente as the damage there. Not too big of a deal. I mean, honestly, Yamanbagiri is one of the better of the Token Rambu decks, but it isn't really enough to scare me quite yet. Running into the grade 2, that's going to allow us to use the grade 1 skill, allowing us to search out a grade 1 strategy order, which in this deck I am playing as opposed to the other one. Mostly I'm playing it in this deck because I realized from playing that other build how important it is to play a set order every single turn. So I figured, okay, let's just make the deck so that it guarantees that grade 1 being played on that grade 2. I say that, but I'm going to go ahead and throw out the Hathaway, just counterblast 1, draw a card. We've got the spare counterblast, we can't be damaged tonight here. And then we're going to call this Sabine, go ahead and energy blast the 3, and we're going to add back one of the strategy orders that we discarded earlier for Ride Deck. You can still do it in this build, but obviously once we get the new support, it's going to be so much more easier to discard your strategy orders, considering you can set them from drop now. But yeah, I basically discarded it for Ride Deck in anticipation for this, adding back the Resilience, and then just playing it instead of the grade 1, because obviously Resilience is so much of a better card than, was it Kill Shroud? That's what the grade 1 is called. Anyways, we're going to be swinging in for 10, going to be blocking that one, swinging in the 20k with the Vanguard, countercharging, getting a critical trigger, so we're going to even things up, pushing 2 damage, tying it up at 2-2. Although, in terms of hand advantage, I am definitely doing much better, I would say, as we're going to discard to ride up here into the grade 3 Yamanbagiri. Now, with all the Token Rambu boss units, except for, what's his name? Munechika Mikazuki, pretty much all of them are not very threatening on their first grade 3 turn. It's every turn after that, assuming that they're able to Persona Ride, is when you do actually have to worry about things. And I guess I should touch on it, but I'm sure you've been noticing that I have this little layout here. This is honestly just like my first attempt at a layout. I've been wanting to kind of put this. I've been wondering if it's something I should add to my videos. So definitely like let me know if you guys like the idea of a layout. Personally, I'm not like super big on it, but I also don't mind it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Now, this design that I have right now is kind of just like my first draft. It's might not be like what we end up using for the format. But you know, if you guys actually like this one, I could just keep it up. I did definitely leave a lot of room to add extra things. For now, I just have the handed damage, as you can see there. But you know, the door is always open to like add more information to make it that much easier to digest the games. Speaking of the games, let's go ahead and hop straight into it. So we are going to be seeing the Persona ride there, that being the grade 3, the base one, boosting and attacking. And I'm actually going to be using one of the techs that I've used in this specific build of Avantgarda, which is the Blitz order that allows you to discard up to 2 set orders to get 5k and draw a card. I was noticing that you tend to be bricked up on set orders a lot of the time when you're playing Avantgarda, so why not play a card that allows you to actually, you know, turn those set orders into card draw, which is very beneficial for the deck, as you saw there, because I'm basically going to be able to cycle that grade 1 useless card that I got, and, you know, just actually turn into something usable. We're going to be hitting a heal trigger here as we just no-guard the Vanguard. You do see a front trigger being flipped there, as we're going to go ahead and use the Yamanbagiri's skill to soul in that Persona from field. That's going to allow them to call a card and give it 10k, I believe. Let's see. It isn't going to be getting the front power. Obviously, we do have that open rearguard circle there that we could have called, swinging for 18, but thanks to that defensive, it's not going to be hitting, so I guess we're just going to go ahead and commit to the back row, going to be boosting this attack using the skill of the grade 1, I believe here, which is interesting. It's like a 10k Elena. Just kind of having to remember the Token Rambu cards, what they do. I only remember them because I had to find these cards and figure out what they did. But yeah, it boosts grade 2 or greater. You basically scry 1, it's Elena, and then it gets like 2k or something. But we're going to go ahead and put that card to the bottom of the deck. And I believe, you guys saw it up there. It was on there. I don't remember if it gets 2k only if it's boosting a specific race of Token Rambu. But this is going to be 18, 28. This should actually be 38, thanks to the front trigger. But I am going to guard it with a 15. I guess we both miscalculated the numbers, because I believe that should be 10 plus 18 is 28. And I guess we just forgot about that front trigger. I'm pretty sure it was a front trigger anyway. But in any case, it should have just gone to that, even if it was a regular trigger. I'm talking too much. Anyways, let's go ahead and hop back to my turn. I managed to stay at 2 damage thanks to that defensive trigger. Kind of just deciding what I want to discard from my hands here. Probably don't have a good discard here. Looks like we're going to go ahead and discard the Gradius Gradale to ride into Avantgarda. Going to let us search out another grade 2 set order. Obviously, my 1 copy of Dusting is already in the drop zone, but that's why we play the 2 Resilience. Thankfully, we'll be able to actually search it out and play it, because Resilience is just the best set order. You just always want to be playing this card every single turn, you know, except for your Richter turns. Which, you know, if you guys actually want to see how this deck is built, I'm totally down to do a deck profile. I did already do a Avantgarda deck profile, but it was kind of like a joke. A little bit of a joke. Like, I think the deck was solid in what it was trying to do. But obviously, like, if you want to play it straight, I can definitely show you how my deck is built, and obviously why I chose the cards I did. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and use Avantgarda here. We're gonna go and put in that Resilience and Soul, of course giving ourselves the first red text skill, making so that we can search out a Avantgarda if we don't attack. If our attack doesn't hit, obviously meaning that, you know, if they don't want us to do that, then they're going to have to eat a damage and allow me to restand, you know, kind of potentially threatening that 2 crit attack there. Calling out the Allegerdente, who made it back into the list just because, you know, I had enough space for it. We're going to go ahead and add the Death Winds for next turn. Thanks to the fact that we were able to play the Resilience last turn, we do actually have our full Richter combo set up here. I think the only thing I'm missing at this point is Richter, but we can, you know, I have the potential to actually just search it out, depending on what my opponent does here. And obviously, they don't know what piece I'm missing. For all they know, I could literally have everything for full combo in my hand right now. Gonna be swinging in with the Vanguard. Gonna be PG'd, which is perfectly fine for me, as we throw up a front trigger here, meaning that, you know, my last two attacks, which are normally just 15, are now going to be 25. So instead of calling for a 5k guard, they are going to be asking for 15, as we're going to go ahead and search out the Richter. Just swing with our Vanguard. I always love the idea of just swinging your Vanguard and then just plussing 3 from it. Obviously, you know, your 2 drive checks, and then you just get another free card. It feels so good, honestly. It makes it so that, like, sometimes when you before when you swung with Avantgarda and you're like, oh, it didn't hit, I get nothing, no value, no extra 5k. Now it's like, oh, sweet, I can just get a free card. As we're gonna go ahead and swing for this 25 here, calling for a 15k guard. So we get another 25 here. And looks like we're going to go ahead and take it. I think, obviously, if we were going to take one of them, we probably should have just taken the first one. But obviously, there wasn't a defensive there, so it didn't really matter in the end. As we're energy charge up to 9. Go ahead and Persona Ride here, which is now going to make things scary because now that is 2 copies of the Yamanbagiri. Is that the old one? Is that the old... I might have to actually check what the old one does because... I can't tell. Gosh, Token Rambo's card artwork is just so difficult. Anyways, we are going to be overcalling. Not sure what we did there. I kind of missed it. All right, so we are going to be calling. I believe that's the grade 2 counter charger, and we called another new back row rear guard there. This one is specifically much more Elena, except without a Soul Blast. This is the one that gets 2k. This is the one I was actually thinking of. So it's going to be swinging in. And you see the skill of the grade 2 here, which allows you to Soul Blast one and just give it another 10k, and letting you draw a card. So just the overall very solid unit. If you watch my video, you would know that that's one of the cards I talk about because it is, in fact, very good. Taking this first attack, I am actually going to be getting a defensive here. So as the Vanguard swings in here, almost forgetting to use the skill of the grade 2 to retire and draw a card. But swinging in the Yamanbagiri for, I think it was like 34. I am at 20k, or I think it was 24 or something. 29. So I'm going to go ahead and hit it with a 2 to pass. We're going to see a critical trigger here, and then a front trigger to follow it up. So that is going to break. I'm going to go ahead and just take the 2 damage here. First check is going to be a front trigger, and the second check is going to be a heal trigger. So I have just got 3 defensives, and, you know, that can't be good for my opponent, as I'm going to just be sitting here at 43k. I don't think any of these attacks are actually going to be able to hit. We're going to go ahead and use Yamanbagiri's skill. Going to be calling out this grade 1, who is effectively a Persona Ride Searcher. Is that the old one? I can't really tell. One mistake that I think we might have made when we were doing this game is the new Yamanbagiri actually gains an extra critical whenever you have the 2 personas in soul. So theoretically, I should have taken 3 damage from that attack, I believe. But as you saw, I got a heal trigger, so it's not really going to matter in the end, because I would have just been at 5 as opposed to 4, because I would have actually healed down from that. But we're going to swing with this other column. Just going to be Soul Blasting 1 to counter charge. Is that 28, I believe? That's going to be able to attack one of the rear guards. Even though we did get the front trigger, they are still at only 20k. But this other rear guard is at... shouldn't it be at 28k? I feel like doesn't it get another 10k from Yamanbagiri, and then we're under Persona Ride, so it should have been 28. Would have been at least able to hit the other rear guard, which honestly I probably would have defended, just because, you know, those are my best attackers, and I kind of need them around. I think I only have 1 extra copy. But as we pass back to my turn, I am going to be Persona Riding, looking to go for a game here. Going to be putting in the Resilience, this time giving myself the second skill, where if my Vanguard gets ridden over, it gets placed with all the same effects as, you know, what's it called? it gains all the trigger effects that the previous unit got, as well as any effects it got from strategy orders, which is just a really weird combination of sentences to see in a Vanguard game, and honestly any game. Just like being able to like have a unit that inherits all the effects of a different unit that already use the effects. That's like, honestly, if you probably go into Magic the Gathering, there's probably like a bunch of card effects that do that. We're gonna go ahead and play the Death Winds and bind our Vanguard into Reride into the Richter here, and then we're gonna go ahead and use the base Avantgarda skill to soul in the Death Winds, meaning that we're going to be seeing a very powerful turn here, as of course we do have Persona Ride, so we're already giving a blanket 10k to the front row. All I really need is to just fill out the board with one more attacker, and then hopefully a couple more boosters, as we're going to go ahead and call, use its skill to just draw another card. Honestly, another thing Avantgarda kind of struggles with is, like, it has two good boosters. You have, like, Hathaway, and then you have a Milestone, but outside of that, you don't really have any boosters, which is why it's really good that the new cards are, you know, just grade 1. So, like, if you need to, in a pinch, you can just call them down. 8k makes your incrementally climbing, what's it called, by 5k, because leasing scale in like increments of 5 and 10, so giving them that extra 8k basically just calls for another 10k shield out of your opponent, plus what, you know, whatever base power they already have. We're gonna go ahead and call another Sabine here. Did I add something back? I think you might as well add something back, because I think at this point I have like 3 PGs in my hand, so I'm like, okay, why not just PG fodder. I'm gonna be calling down the one of Milestone. I don't actually have any Avantgardas in the drop zone, and obviously, like, they're all stuck in the soul, which is one of the problems Avantgarda really has, is that, like, you can't really soul blast out your things. Like, your strategy orders, they just get stuck in the soul, and then you can't add them back, and you just have no good way to soul blast them, so it's kind of annoying. But, you know, obviously some of the new support fixed that. Well, who would have known? A grade 1 that says soul blast 1 act is really good. But, you know, another option for that is, like, playing the black grade 1, where you just get Camera Chan. If you need a Soul Blast 1 for anything, just Soul Blast 1, get a 5k booster. Why not? So we're going to go ahead and swing our first Vanguard here for 33 already, the plus 5k from the Avantgarda skill, the plus 10k from Persona Ride, as well as the extra 5k that is granted to all front row units, is going to make this a very powerful 33 with Twin Drive. So we're going to opt to not guard that. First check is going to be a, Bipolar Nebula, which is, you know, my searcher for the good blitz order. I just want to place a unit, and she does also go do very well in a pinch, because she's already a 20k base attacker. That makes her only like 5k less than like the Sabine or a Alajar Dente. And, you know, she can also Soul Blast, which the deck really desperately needs to do. But we're going to go ahead and Counterblast 1 here, restand our Vanguard using the Avantgarda skill since we Persona Ride. Going to be swinging in again, giving another 5k to the front row, making this a 38k Vanguard with only 1 drive check. We're going to go ahead and not guard that, and I am going to be flipping over a critical trigger here, pinging for the last 2 damage, but the 6th damage happens to be a heal trigger. We're going to go ahead and opt to I guess heal out the Munachika. Of course, you know, this is nowhere near the end of my turn. I still have like 3 more attacks after this. And don't forget that thanks to Resilience, my Vanguard is going to be inheriting all those trigger powers here. And we're going to give it another 10k. Now, it does basically stay the same, because very niche thing to note is the new Avantgarda is actually like 10k less technically, because it doesn't get the first 2 Death Winds that obviously, you know, Richter got. But, you know, it makes up for that in the fact that it gets another 10k with its own rewrite, the extra 10k from that. But of course, with the extra trigger power, now the 10k boost and yet another 5k to front row units from the Death Winds. This is going to be a very massive 58 here, with my other 2 columns looking at 60 and 63. We're going to go ahead and intercept that grade 1, who is kind of a bad gun cycler. He has the same skill, where he Counterblast 1, draw a card when he's put on Guardian Circle. Obviously not as good because you can't use energy, but, you know, we're going to use that to cycle our hand out a bit, and then just PG one of the swing in the end. I'm going to drive check, getting nothing off the top there, just another set order, the other grade 1 that I am playing in this deck. And my next attack is going to be hitting for 60. You know, if we had to fish for a PG for that 58, things are probably not looking that great. I think we have 5 or 6 cards in hand. I might have forgotten to count one of them. But let's see. I think honestly in this situation you kind of just need 2 PGs, or you need to have enough guard to like hard guard one of them and then PG the last one. But looks like we're not going to have it, so that is going to be the end of the match. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to do those YouTube things, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.